the Chinese couldn't get an ICBM off the ground. We gave them everything. And the guidance systems and the multiple reentry devices, we gave them everything. And so Trump is just, you could almost say, just trying to negotiate that they use lubrication. And the globalists are like, we're not going to use lubrication. We're going to slit your damn throat. And the cucks, it's a spirit of cuck traders were setting us up. I mean, and the left have such Stockholm syndrome towards China and everything else that's un-American. And the Islamists and everything. They're just like, good, screw America, we hate it, yay, China. China, when it fully takes over, they will be immediately annihilated. And so Trump is just these traders. You can almost say just trying to negotiate. So there you go. And started to ban on military bases. A bunch of the governments are banning it. Zero Hedge has an excellent article on it. And the cucks, it's incredibly serious. Of course, Russia has nothing to do with any of this, but that's why. They're the diversion tactic, see? Facebook slams Dem operatives for using Russian bots to tilt Alabama election. And even AP has forced to report that Roy Moore didn't have any Russian bots, that you could just go hire companies that just happen to be in Russia. Geography means nothing. And then have them act like they were doing pro-Russia, Roy Moore, so CNN could run stories. That's called a false flag, a staged event. Of course, we played this yesterday. The top Canadian imam says that saying Merry Christmas is worse than murder, and that Christians are the enemy and we will be dealt with. There's so much more I haven't had time to get to yet, but we'll get to it all coming up today. Also, Vladimir Putin bows to his most dangerous enemy. When we come back from break, is that really the case? Or what's really going on? Then we'll play Paul Joseph Watson's report. Again, I want to thank all the listeners that have made the broadcast possible and allow there to be something true and independent out there to fight back. And now it's more critical that we be here than ever. They're taking Savage off the radio and replacing him with a neocon. They're doing it all. They're making their move. Well, we have all the specials of Christmas until the end of the year. Just a few more days, store-wide free shipping. Double Patriot points for your next order, 50 to 75% off, and a free gift, because we ran out of all the T-shirts in sizes extra large and large, so we ran out of all those as a free gift. But something of comparable value will be thrown into there. You cannot beat this deal, and your support is so critical. So if you want to get Brain Force or X2, or you want to get high-quality shareable foods, or you want to get water filtration or air filtration, just the specials are the biggest ever. Year-end clearance sale, InfoWarsStore.com or 888-253-3139. All right, I'm going to come back with Paul Watson's report and the latest on Putin. Is he bowing to his most dangerous enemy? Find out on the other side. It's InfoWars.com. Tomorrow's news today. Our only hope is that you spread that URL. If you do it, we win. If you don't, we're dead in the water. I'm in your hands. Stay with us. The globalists. This past weekend, I traveled up to Omaha, Nebraska to visit my wife's father. And while I was there, I had a chance to read the Omaha World Herald living section. And the entire thing is a anti-family, anti-American diatribe. But it's all packaged very, very slickly. Here's just one example from the Sunday, December 23rd, 2018, Section E living area, which should be how to not live. It's all about how to spend time watching football with your family and how great that is, and how to set up the flicker rate on your television right. I'm not kidding. But beneath that, there's an article, Breaking the Expectations of Boys Will Be Boys. It's a Washington Post editorial staff article. It's a very, very large syndicated column. And I knew what I was going to read before I read it. Boys aren't graduating high school or college, and boys are depressed, and boys can't get jobs. And you know what the problem is? Boys are boys. We need to teach them how to wear pink nail polish and how to be in dance class. That's right. We need to teach them how to be like girls, because girls have been more compliant with the changes in society, and that's how we fix the problem. You know, he worries that the people they interview in here, that their son is playing with Nerf guns. And then it's just beyond sick. What they've done is build a world that's anti-male and anti-family. What they've done is target our boys with Ritalin and Prozac and all these drugs. What they've done is set up systems that persecute the idea of masculinity, toxic masculinity. It's well known that when the Romans or any other group took over a population, they would kill all the men down to age 12 or so. Because women are compliant with an authoritarian takeover on average. And they would only allow little boys to go on and survive, along with little girls. And they would then set the women up as the intermediary between the Romans and the local slave colonies. You've all heard of this in the classic images of southern plantations and slavery, where you'd have the large black woman who was in the house and the men were outside, and she was the one that kept an eye out for master. She was the one that made sure everybody stayed in line. And then you read this sick, sick evil, where the system has set it up to put men into crisis and women as well. The whole human species is under attack. And the article by the end gets into gender and how we have to get rid of gender roles because that's why our boys are in trouble. The very same technocrats, the very same eugenicists who bragged in the 30s that they would set this up, people like Aldous Huxley and Julian Huxley, the very same people that bragged about it have now brought us to that point. And we're 3 or 4 generations into this, and now those that helped create the crisis, those that helped saw off our legs, are now going to help saw off our arms and help chemically sterilize our young boys. That's how we're going to save them. Just like LBJ bragged 45 years ago that he'd have black people voting Republican for 100 years by paying black women to not have men in the house or they wouldn't get their welfare. And that's how they operate. The article is sickening, and it's titled, Breaking the Expectation of Boys Will Be Boys. Parents want their sons to be who he is, not what society should say it should be. But they're the ones saying that you're not really a boy. They're the ones destroying your identity while claiming they're protecting it. They're the ones telling you what to be while claiming they're defending your right to be what you want to be.
You're listening to The Alex Jones Show. He aligns himself with the truth, and it's time for you to choose a side. You're listening to Alex Jones.
I was just in the studio live, and I said, coming up in the next segment, I'm going to talk about Vladimir Putin and what his supposedly most powerful enemy is, according to CNN. And is that actually the case? But I wanted to just come in here and shoot the intro to this video we're about to play to get people thinking outside the box. I'm not just a guy on the radio or TV saying these things. This is really going on. I know most of you know that, but this isn't a spectator event. Even my own self, I fight the globalists so much that it almost becomes not that big a threat because I'm so close to it. Even though it's sterilizing me, even though it's giving me cancer, even though it's trying to kill me, even though the 5G, the globalism, the GMO, this whole system's attacking my children, your children, I'm almost adapting to accepting this environment. We should not accept it. We shouldn't just fight against it. We should absolutely not accept it. Because realize they've got a drawing board set up for you and your family. They've got a plan. And if you're just accepting that plan, then you're not charting your own destiny. So let's all put a whiteboard on the wall somewhere in the house, the garage, wherever, and start writing our own goals for the universe and the world and what we'd like to see happen versus what they'd like to see. And then let's sit back and actually look at what the globalists are planning and what they're doing. That's all I'm saying. Mike Adams is coming up, and this next video ties into this. He's going to go to the New York Times, the Washington Post, all of them, how great it'll be once there's no humans, how we're inherently bad. Thank God we're all going sterile. This is the plan. They're now rolling it out and telling you what they've done. And then you've got people like Vladimir Putin, who kicked the globalists out, who's trying to run programs for their people to have more children, who understands the globalists are trying to rewrite every culture. And he does see the number one threat to their country coming back as rap. And that's because the West weaponized rap, turned it into gangster rap. This has all been declassified. And they are sending it into nations, weaponized, to create a thug gangster culture. And it's spread all over the Middle East, Asia. It's a narcissistic, mentally ill, arrested development, thug behavior of young males that have never had a real role model. So instead of having a good masculine role model, they go with the globalist, truly toxic male role model that inducts them into the prison system. So Putin knows if he says ban rap, that'll backfire. So he should say, well, it's very powerful, and some of it's good, some of it's bad, but it's also very, very dangerous, and it's got some anti-family, anti-woman messages, so that he can have a real conversation with the young people about the weaponized music of Pussy Riot and the rest of it being put into Russia. And the fake rock and roll stuff hasn't worked, but this latest stuff is working, and it's also worked here in America. It was beta tested here in America, ladies and gentlemen. And it's been beta tested in Europe and turns women into cucks that literally go and give sexual services to Islamists. Other women get their heads cut off and raped, and then other leftists apologize and say, you know, it's not your fault, I'm sorry. Courts are ruling that Muslim men can have sex with their children. This is their culture. It's so sick. And here's Paul Joseph Watson breaking down this mass cucking and how it's weaponized and how Russia is standing against it, and we should too.
2 female Scandinavian tourists were brutally murdered while hiking in Morocco's Atlas Mountains. 24-year-old Dane Louisa Vesteraga Jeppesen and 28-year-old Norwegian Maren Juland were stabbed to death by suspected Islamic jihadists. And a horrific video shows Jeppesen being beheaded. Although the attack was likely sexually motivated, the killers later claimed allegiance to ISIS. And guess what one of the victims had previously posted on her Facebook page? A video showing a bearded Muslim man alongside the words, "Never judge people by their appearance." The video, a short film entitled Think for Yourself, shows a white woman looking at a bag-carrying Muslim with suspicion. Plainclothes police officers then run out of the car towards the Muslim. Then they run straight past him and instead tackle a well-dressed white man with a briefcase before finding a bag full of drugs. The Muslim man then meets his family and the white woman realized what an Islamophobe she was. Never judge people by their appearance, the young blonde Scandinavian girl wrote on her Facebook before traveling to Morocco, where she was decapitated. This is what the 3 men who did it looked like. Some people even reported that the mother of one of the victims in Morocco was posting love heart emojis aimed at Moroccans on Facebook just days after her daughter was brutally slaughtered. Swedish news outlets later reported that the rape and beheading carried out by supporters of Islamic State had nothing to do with Islam. And so we observe yet another tragic case of cultural relativism. The idea that a person's beliefs, values, and practices should be understood based on that person's own culture rather than be judged against the criteria of another. How many times have we seen ardent progressives visit whole countries proclaiming love and peace to be universal, only for them to end up dead? Pippa Bacca, the performance artist who said she would hitchhike from Italy to the Middle East to, quote, send a message of peace and marriage between different peoples and nations. Her sister said she thought that in the world there were more positive than negative people, and that it was right to be trusting. When she got to Turkey, what happened to her? Raped and strangled to death. When news of her murder broke, authorities and the media were keen to downplay any connection to Turkey or any connection to the killer's belief system. Amanda Kajira, the liberal activist who traveled to Haiti to raise awareness about violence against women. She said she was, quote, committed to preserving the dignity of black men in a world which constantly stereotypes them as violent savages. What happened to her? Held on a rooftop and repeatedly raped by a black man. When she wrote about the experience after, guess who Amanda said was to blame? White men. Ellen Krantz, a Swedish supporter of multiculturalism and a strong advocate of mass immigration. She was a member of a Facebook page called We Like Diversity. What happened to her? Raped and killed by an Ethiopian immigrant and dumped in a forest. Zaida Catalan, the Swedish Green Party politician who was a staunch advocate for open borders before visiting the Democratic Republic of the Congo. What happened to her? Beheaded and thrown in a shallow grave. 20-year-old Ellie Warren, a left-wing environmentalist who visited Mozambique for the diving and for the, quote, pumping nightlife. According to her mother, she was, quote, just one of those girls that wanted to travel the world and see everything she could before she was 30. Warren had an insatiable desire to, quote, help others less fortunate than herself. What happened to her? Raped, murdered and dumped in a toilet block. American Lauren M., working as an au pair in Austria, responded to a campaign encouraging people to take refugees and migrants into their own homes. She took in a Gambian migrant who had escaped from a local refugee centre to escape deportation and had a warrant out for his arrest. Lauren gave the migrant a home despite him being previously accused of sexually assaulting a minor. What happened to her? Raped and suffocated to death. Belgian psychologist Malaise Derrymaker worked with failed asylum seekers in Sweden to prevent their deportation. What happened to her? Mowed down by a truck driven by a failed asylum seeker. A female interpreter working on a documentary about the plight of vulnerable refugees. What happened to her? Raped by refugees. These cases are commonplace, with NGOs and charities routinely covering them up so as not to stigmatize migrants. And then there was the left-wing couple who cycled through the Middle East and the Balkans. This is what they wrote before embarking on their journey. You read the papers and you're led to believe that the world is a big, scary place. People, the narrative goes, are not to be trusted. People are bad. People are evil. I don't buy it. Evil is a make-believe concept we've invented to deal with the complexities of fellow humans holding values and beliefs and perspectives different than our own. By and large, humans are kind, generous and wonderful and kind. No greater revelation has come from our journey than this. What happened to them? Ran over and stabbed to death by ISIS. Let's explore this case a bit more, because despite what they said, I read their other travel blogs. And in almost every non-European country they visited, they were stalked, harassed and threatened with physical harm. In Morocco, they were followed by weirdos trying to sell them drugs. Called racist for not buying something from a street vendor, pushed off their bikes for refusing to take photos with people, and in one case, the guy was almost squished up against another car while trying to cross the road. The couple were tragically murdered in Tajikistan by Islamic State terrorists as part of a vehicle attack on 7 Western tourists cycling through the Pamir Mountains. The murderers even made an ISIS propaganda tape before the slaughter. So yes, evil does exist, and there are evil people in the world. And some countries are more dangerous than others because some cultures and some belief systems are worse than others. Our negative view of some other cultures isn't just a product of our own ignorance and bigotry. It's a fair appraisal of what happens in those countries due to the attitudes of the people who live there. Does that mean that everyone in Morocco or Tajikistan is out to harass, attack or murder Western tourists? No, of course not. But that's not the issue. The issue is that leftists have embraced moral and cultural relativism. They've projected their own self-delusion that the world can be a utopia if we just all collectively believe it to be that way. No, the world doesn't work like that. There are bad people in the world. Evil exists in the world. And no amount of wishy-washy, #love wins speciousness is ever going to change that fact.
Words can... Listeners and viewers know that every time we go to break, I pass the hat. I ask for your support. I ask for your prayers. I ask for your financial support buying products at InfoWarsStore.com. Because simply put, we're neck and neck. If you don't support us, Soros and Hillary and the globalist scumbags will be successful taking us down. If you do support us, we will, like a promontory with a lighthouse on it, in the thick of a hurricane or a typhoon, survive. It's that simple. So it's epic. It's amazing. I can't believe we've lasted this long. In many ways, we've gotten stronger, and some we've gotten weaker. And this is the stuff of legends. And I just want listeners to continue to understand something, because it's the key. You are not just part of the info war. You're the core. You're the heart. You're everything. And it's that realization, understanding that will then push you to not just support us, but to support yourself by letters to the editor, calling into C-SPAN, starting your own local radio show, starting your own blog, starting your own whatever it is. Just take action today and realize that we're going to
most offensive radio talk show host on the planet, Pete Santilli. And Deb Jordan. Pete Santilli and Deb Jordan.
That's us.
Yes, that's us. Welcome, everybody. How are you?
Oh, my goodness. How are you this evening?
This is your 9 p.m. news update. And guess what? We got something special going on tonight, too. I hope. If we have enough people, I certainly hope so. I didn't even send out emails. I mean, I've been sending out emails to thousands of people. I don't even know if people get their email. So, I mean, we might be filtered back. But guess what? On MeWe, stuff flows. We got a conference call tonight at 10:30 after the call. So it's going to be a relatively brief. We're not going to go late. But as we scheduled it earlier in the week, I posted it up on events on MeWe. At 10:30, we're going to do a conference call. It's probably going to be like I'd say maybe a 30-minute conference call, maximum 30 minutes or so, right? And we want you to join us. So you can actually get to our page that I've already posted. In fact, I'm going to post it again in our YouTube chat room event page with the link to the conference call for tonight. Okay. And I'll also post that on Periscope as well. Just think on Periscope, I really want to thank the skinny jeans wearing pedocrat named Jack, the Satanic Verses pedo code talking Jack that loves sending to millions and millions of people what the Desmond, the amazing guy, the cross-dressing 11-year-old, okay, that needs to be, actually his dad needs to be bullied, okay, but Jack will send out to millions of people Desmond, the amazing freaking cross-dressing 11-year-old boy that acts like a girl. As Alex Jones just said, I was playing Alex Jones. He said the reason why they want to convert these little boys into girls is because, Deb, because girls are much more compliant to the changes that come in our society. They're much more, right?
Yes.
Much more docile and compliant. So they want all of you men just to effeminized so that you'll
they conform so much.
They're conformist, and they want everybody to just take duct tape and strap your junk,
Oh, jeez.
strap your package back and just cross your legs like a girl, and cross dress. That's thanks to Jack over there, the pedocrat, Desmond the Amazing promoting, Satanic Verses reading, a pedo code talker over at Twitter. 7,300 people notified. 20 people are allowed to come in, because he wants to. I would say the majority of the people there that are in Periscope, are they women?
Oh,
because you might be docile and much more compliant, so you're allowed to come in.
Yeah,
isn't that great?
Yeah. I mean, I would have no idea.
Thankfully, YouTube is not doing that to us.
Not yet.
Not yet, anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I need you to subscribe. Let me just say this right now before I forget. Okay, join us on MeWe. Join our news group. All right, free flow of information, unbelievable. You get on MeWe, you'll be. A lot of people are like, oh, it's new to me. That means you've been literally just robotized on Facebook.
It's only new for a while.
It's just new for a while. You're just robotized on Facebook. It's got less moving parts than
I remember
Facebook.
when I first went on Facebook, I hated it. I was like, ugh.
Yeah.
Terrible.
You can't navigate around. But you'll be able to navigate around. Get on MeWe, join our news group, and then I'll tell you what you do is you go to browse the news groups, and it's just an overwhelming flow of information. Nothing is deleted. Now, this is my segue to my news topic tonight. I'm again upset. Okay, so I have to communicate why and how upset I am about this news report that I'm about to bring to you. This is, to me, breaking news. Okay, to me, breaking news. I cannot believe, and I found this out on MeWe. What is her name? Where is she? Let me go to chats. I want to give her credit. Where is it? Elizabeth Wilson. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Elizabeth Wilson. She dropped this. It was the first time. Now I'm a newsmonger, correct?
You are.
I don't miss very much.
No.
The flow of information is unbelievable. All right. That's not my point. It's not that I'm disappointed in myself. A news story like this, let's say, for instance, in downtown Los Angeles, somebody runs into a bank and steals $300 million and then jumps in their car and goes down the road. What do you think is going to happen? 24/7. They're actually going to use military force to go get that person. There's 10,000 LAPD officers. 12,000 of them would be chasing that guy down, right?
Absolutely.
They'd have AR-15s out, guns out, right? If you stole $350 million from a bank, it would be on the news live, running 24/7 until that person was apprehended. Guess what? This story goes up on the internet from Cheryl Atkinson.
Mm-hmm.
Atkinson, right. I always say her name wrong. Cheryl Atkinson on this YouTube video from her report, Full Measure. Guess when it was published? Think back in just a few months ago. April of 2017?
April of 2017?
Was it April 2017, 2018? Okay. But it was months ago, all right, that this thing was published. This is a major, major news report that I'm going to bring to you. And I'm just now finding out about this thing. Okay. Now, wait till you hear how important it is. I'm going to go right to it. We're going to play it, and then we're going to have a discussion about it. Okay. Now, has anybody right now, have you heard that $300 million was distributed to the Afghans? Has anybody heard that? Tell me in the Periscope chat room. Anyone in the Periscope chat room, have you heard about this Cheryl Atkinson report? Yes or no? And you haven't seen it yet, but there's a report about the $300 million. It should be permanently embedded in everyone's memory. Okay? Here it is. I'm putting it on the screen right now.
I can tell you I missed it completely.
You did. You didn't know about it.
No.
Okay. I didn't know about it. This is why I'm upset. I took this information just moments ago, actually moments before we came on the air, and I'm bringing it to you right away. Why? Because I'm the independent media. This is one of the most important news stories of our lifetime. Okay? Listen to this. Here we go. Without further ado.
Welcome to Full Measure. I'm Cheryl Atkinson. Since 2002, billions of U.S. tax dollars have been spent rebuilding Afghanistan after its decades of war. A big chunk of that money pays Afghan soldiers and police. But it turns out a lot of those troops may not, in fact, exist. We investigate how your tax money is being wasted on ghost soldiers.
We've been raising this concern about ghosts going back a number of years. And we first heard about it, actually, ironically, I heard about it from Ashraf Ghani. Years ago, before he became president, he warned me about ghosts. So we started looking 3 years ago.
John Sopko is the Inspector General watching over the U.S. taxpayer billions spent to rebuild Afghanistan. When you say ghosts, what are you referring to?
Well, we're talking about policemen, Afghan military, Afghan civil servants who don't exist, or they have multiple identity cards, and we're paying their salaries. By we, I mean the United States and the international community. And we started finding out that we had no capacity to measure the number of soldiers, teachers, doctors, military people who we are paying their salaries.
For years, multiple audits have shown there's no way to prove that the money we send for salaries is going to a real live body. And the payroll numbers just don't add up. For example, Sopko says in June 2016, the supposed number of Afghan military and police was 319,595. But an Afghan official told AP the best internal estimate of the real number was around 120,000. This implies fraud, obviously.
Oh, absolutely. Major fraud. And what's happening is the commanders or generals or other higher officials are actually pocketing the salaries of the ghosts. And I remember President Ghani, again, at that time he wasn't president, saying, John, you, the United States government, are paying the salary of an Afghan who's a teacher, he's a civil servant, he's a doctor, he's a policeman, and he's a soldier. And it's the same Afghan, and he doesn't exist.
Paying for reconstruction in war-ravaged countries is an American tradition. After World War II, there was the Marshall Plan, named after Secretary of State George Marshall. The U.S. spent, in today's terms, $103 billion over 4 years to rebuild 16 European countries. Today, U.S. taxpayers have now far outspent the Marshall Plan on Afghanistan reconstruction, more than $117 billion. $68 billion of that has gone for Afghan national defense and security forces, the country's police and military. Last year, the governor of Helmand, Afghanistan, reported discovering at least 400 non-existent ghost soldiers on that province's payroll. And Helmand's police chief was also quoted as saying that of 26,000 Afghan National Defense Security Forces assigned there, 40 to 50% did not exist physically when we asked for help during operations.
So you're talking about, instead of 300-some thousand, it may be only 150,000 actually exist. Especially in Helmand province, the new provincial governors down there were raising serious concerns that most of the police and soldiers that they needed during the last fighting season weren't there.
In multiple letters and audits, SOPCO has taken the Pentagon, which manages the money, to task, stating persistent reports raise questions regarding whether the U.S. government is taking adequate steps to prevent taxpayer funds from being spent on so-called ghost soldiers. And he says the ghost phenomenon extends beyond Afghan defense and security paychecks to other forms of aid.
It's not just the salaries, but we're funding schools based upon the number of students. So if you invent or inflate the number of students, you're going to be paying more money. On the soldiers and the police, we're paying for extra boots, for food, for everything else, logistics, for numbers that don't exist.
Is there any way to tell who is taking the money?
It's difficult because of the security situation. We in the U.S. oversight community can't get out. Even the U.S. military can't get out anymore. So it's very difficult. It's really up to the Afghans or designing systems for the Afghans to implement.
Who would it be that could conceivably help fix this, or who is responsible for the misspending?
Well, the misspending is obviously the Afghans. They're the ones who are stealing the money. Who we are holding accountable is the U.S. government for not considering this to be an issue when we raised it 3 or 4 years ago, but also not implementing some reforms to ensure that there actually is a soldier on the other end of that PACE statement.
The Pentagon is implementing a new system of biometrics in Afghanistan using fingerprints, photos, and blood type. It recently said up to 95% of Afghan police and 70 to 80% of soldiers are now enrolled. The idea is to dispense with old ghosts and ensure proof of life among a faraway force funded by U.S. taxpayers. What kind of money are we talking about?
Hundreds of millions of dollars we're talking about that may be lost.
The Pentagon expects to complete its person-by-person verification of Afghan's army and police in July. Still ahead on Full Measure, the oldest profession with a new twist. Sex traffickers take a page from ISIS through online recruiting, pushing teenagers into prostitution.
Okay, so that report actually coming off of, are you? And by the way, for some reason, your camera's not working.
That's okay.
Okay, but that's okay. That's how we roll. Are we okay?
Yeah, we're good.
For some reason, it's not. No, it's frozen. I apologize. I won't be able to put you on camera. But let me ask you this: is that surprise? Had you ever heard of any such report?
I had not heard this report. I know that when I checked out this story, of course, the first thing that popped up was Snopes saying that it's mixed in its reality.
Okay, the Inspector General discovered Obama paid $300 million to people that don't exist.
Mm-hmm.
And this report actually was published on December 25th of 2018. When you actually click through and you go to, and Cyril Atkinson is one of the most credible journalists on the face of the planet.
Right.
Okay? That's an IG report.
Well, this should be an eye-opener for everyone, because this is what happens when we have these wars over in other countries. And Ron Paul talked about this the first time I'd ever really looked at the meaning of war and the cost of war. he said that war is big money, right? The contractors that they pay they go in and blow these places up, and then the contractors that they pay to rebuild is just astronomical. And there's a whole economy in it, right? So I'm not surprised at all. I'm not. What I'm really surprised about is that this happened and it was a mainstream story that got no legs.
No legs. If you actually click through on
wasn't even brought up in the campaign.
Let's mention this right here. Check this out. This is April 24th, 2017. Okay. Mm-hmm. April 24th, 2017. Full measure. 34,000 views on this thing. I'm subscribing to her channel. I'm going to share this report. I want everybody to share this far. This thing needs to get hundreds of thousands, if not millions. Mm-hmm. We'll be able to do hundreds of thousands. On this show, when we put out an important report, we get hundreds of thousands of views. I mean, 250,000 views. You know, Larry Klayman, Roger Stone, we do important reports. We put it out there. We'll get a 250,000 views. What does that mean? That's the power of us sharing this information. That's us. We need to get this information out. We need to have everybody subscribe to Cheryl Atkinson's report. And we need to make absolutely certain that when we get a report like this, okay, we're not just shoveling stuff in our face, consuming it. What are we doing? We're sharing this information. On MeWe, we have her name, again, is Elizabeth Wilson. She shared this report with me. I immediately took it to air. And I told her, I said, I'm bringing this on the show tonight, and I'm sharing it. Scotty the Squiddy, I wonder where that money was funneled to, the Clinton Foundation or some other deep state trust. Okay, listen, I'm going to say it again. $300 million. $300 million.
And that's probably not even the half of it.
That was per the Inspector General's report.
Well, that's just in Afghanistan.
Just in Afghanistan. $300 million.
Mm-hmm.
What if Barack Obama ran into a bank and stole $300 million, right? And the next thing you know, they're on the radio. There's a black guy with a bag of $300 million running down the street, right?
Mm-hmm.
That'd be a bad thing, would it not? It'd be on news coverage around the clock. It'd be the biggest, $300 million.
Yes.
Now, let me tell you what kind of a scale that is. Do you remember the bailout way back when? Guess how much that was for?
How much was that for?
$800 million for the bank bailout.
Mm-hmm.
$800 million. This is $300 million that they just took and just kind of wiped it away. And the deep state internet didn't even cover it. You guys don't even know about it. It needs now. They just steal a couple trillion here, a couple trillion there. What's it worth, right? It's just you scumbag deplorables, on the backs of your children, right? Because Barack Obama's going to be gone by the time you figure out what the hell just happened, right?
Right.
Hillary Clinton's going to be gone by the time you figure out what just happened. And the debt keeps piling up, and the debt keeps piling up. And you scumbag freaking working class, low-life deplorables just need to take what we serve up to you.
Mm-hmm.
Just go ahead and consume your Facebook memes.
Well, this was posted by Full Measure on April the 23rd, 2017.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah.
Right. This is an old report, but it was actually distributed by this website. Thank you, lifeinfo24.net.
Uh-huh.
And thank you for sending it to me within an hour ago. Okay? Came to me an hour ago. I'm putting this out. You must know that these are a bunch of thieves, okay, that are ripping you off.
Yeah, what's really interesting about this is when you do a search on it, a lot of independent websites carried it, but no mainstream media.
No mainstream media.
Post articles, no Huffington Post articles, no Washington Times, no LA Times.
When the president of the United States says that the media is the enemy of the American people, and they push back, and they're just so repulsed by that. They're like, how dare you say that you're bringing danger to us? People are going to shoot us. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
No, we don't want to shoot you. We actually want to keep you around and torture you like this. To describe exactly what because literally I'm in a box, okay, here in Cincinnati, Ohio, in a little tiny box, aren't we?
Yeah.
I whip up information on our kitchen table. We don't need you at all. We don't need your CIANN Atlanta corporate headquarters. Nobody's going to bomb it either, okay? That's fake news. That's fake news. That's like you go out and you hire somebody to pretend like they're going to bomb your place. Like if we really want to bomb you, Mr. Stelter, right? Mm-hmm. No, we don't. We want to keep you around and diddle you with truth. Nobody wants to bomb CNN. We want to keep them around. Why kill them? Why not just torture them with the truth and have everyone just kick their ass on their kitchen tables, right? Let me go to the telephone lines here. I'm going to take some telephone calls too as we go. I didn't say hi to Clyde, nor did I get a chance to call Clyde and tell him I didn't say hi to Clyde. Clyde.
Hey. Hello, Devin Pete.
So hi. Slammed. How are you? Are you overwhelmed with the amount of information that's been flowing the past couple of days?
Well, I talked to Deb, I think it was yesterday.
Yes.
And the fire department had just left after putting my head out.
Yes, that's right.
I caught fire.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Hey. Wow. There's been so much information. I'm just overwhelmed, Pete. You know, it's like a disaster happened.
But it is.
I just can't.
It's upsetting to me that when Deb takes a look at the report and she's like, "This thing is old," and I'm looking at, I'm like, "No, it was published December 25th," and then I look down at the report and then I see that since the report was published, she's only gotten 34,000 views on her channel. Can you imagine that she only got 34,000? You can't physically, you can't go on YouTube and put out such an important report. You physically have to suppress that. It's impossible that only 34,000 people it's only 300 million, right? You remember the bank bailout? It was 800 million.
I can't remember the program that came out on a long time ago, but I did see it, and it was more than one program. But yeah, it was absolutely mind-blowing to me to hear about that, and nothing happening to straighten it out. So how many of our politicians are actually getting that money stuffed into their pockets?
This is incredible. And not only their pockets, but it's coming from your pockets, sir. All of you deplorable, lowly, working class people, okay? You just give us your money and keep your freaking mouth shut off in the corner. Just keep your mouth shut. You'll just take the debt. You'll just take it. Who cares about your future generations? As a matter of fact, we want to sterilize you anyway. We want population control. You shouldn't be reproducing. In fact, you know what? I need you to start crossing your legs like a girl, Clyde, okay? And start being a compliant little effeminate male. Please.
Ooh, my wifey's not going to like that.
Of course she's not, right?
Exactly.
Anyways, it's great to talk to you, Clyde.
All right, great to talk to you too. Now go get him, Pete.
Yeah, we're going to go get him, all right. Actually, I know somebody that's about to, he's literally going to have a stroke. Okay, hold on a second. Let me go to Scotty in San Diego. Are you going to have a stroke, dude? Or are you just, do you remember the bank bailout? $800 million. Do you remember that? $800 million. This is $300 million just wiped out, just kind of swept under the carpet. Do you remember the bank bailout, Scotty, in San Diego?
I do. I
do. Remember how huge that story was? It was a major, Congress was like, you must, national security reasons, you must pass a bill. It's $800 million. It's the collapse of society and blah, blah. And for an entire week, remember, they went back and forth. They got the votes. It was so dramatic. It was $800 million, never before seen. Such a huge, and now they just take $300 million. They just pull out of our scumbag little back pockets and just hand it off to people that don't even exist.
Yeah, the shit's out of control, and excuse my language there.
That's okay. That's okay.
And the thing is we're seeing all these reports, and nothing's happening to these people.
Nothing is happening to them, and I have to say it. We, the people, We, the people, need to do stuff. And did you hear the 3 o'clock show by chance? Yes, you did. I know you were in there.
I did. Yep.
Yeah, we had the guy call in saying, well, something about you got to go beat your dog or whatever. And basically he was insinuating we needed to shoot the enemy. And I wasn't going to go there. That means that we have failed to get up off our butts. And right now we're literally suffering as a bunch of apathetic buzzards just sitting there saying, things are bad, right? I mean, okay, get out of the freaking nest. Start pecking at somebody. Hurry, right?
Exactly, Pete. Exactly.
Yeah. It's time for us to do stuff. Let's start taking over these precincts, dude. Seriously. And I say take them over peacefully. We just go there and say, guess what? I'm now the new precinct leader. I'm going to vote me in. I'm steak and potatoes. My qualifications are I can throw darts drunk. Okay? Right?
Yeah. Exactly.
And I don't even care if I hit the freaking dartboard.
It'd be better than what we got now.
Yeah. Dude, you know what? We could take over these precincts. We could do this. The MAGA movement, we need to take over the GOP, fire all of them. We need to tell the Democrats, whatever it is that you Democrats are doing here. Let me check on Periscope because that's where all the Democrats hang out. Do we have any Democrats in the? I need you guys to go throw out. Look at and everybody that was in the chat room. I said, tell me if you've ever heard of this story about $300 million being stolen. Everybody, the majority of everybody, no. Only a few people said yes. Only a few people said yes.
Well, I had heard of it, but I remember thinking back that I heard the story and nobody gave a shit.
They don't. And then, okay, so if you don't give a crap, I mean, everybody right now needs to share this episode and put it out there. Everyone get the Cheryl Atkinson's YouTube channel. We need to put it out, and we need to take Barack Obama and throw the mother effer in handcuffs.
Oh, yeah.
Throw him in. Huh?
No
and they're just
doubt
like, well, he was a president. You know what? You were the president of the United States. You're right. Oh, then who was it that committed the crime? If you're not responsible for it, who was it? Look, we're going to throw them in handcuffs. You better give them up right now. Otherwise, you're going, right? Well, it was legal for us to do that. Legal to steal $300 million? The freaking dude, seriously, do me a favor. Go down to your local bank in downtown San Diego and go steal $300 million. Tell me how many freaking cops you got on your butt with AR-15s, huh?
Oh, yeah, I'd be dead. I'd be dead before the night's out.
That'd be streamed 24/7. They'd have helicopters over, right? They want that on the freaking evening news. They would break in. They would cancel freaking Young and the Restless. Is that even on anymore, by the way, Young and the Restless?
I don't think so.
Oh, they're not on anymore. So I'm dating myself now. But
yeah,
they would.
I know what you're saying, Pete.
Yeah. So, once again, another story. It came to me. I'm bringing it to people. I'm making it important. These people are criminals. They keep getting away with it. Our politicians don't do a freaking thing about it. They do nothing. You know what they do? For the conservatives, they put Trey Gowdy up there, and he asks all the important questions, and then nothing ever happens. Trey, do freaking nothing, Gowdy. Trey, do nothing, Gowdy. Fire his ass.
Yeah.
I think he's quitting.
Yeah, exactly.
He better quit because we're about to fire him.
I think he's leaving.
Well, yeah, they do all this stuff in the Congress, and then nothing happens. Nothing happens.
No, you know what they do?
It's frustrating.
Scott, no, Scott, this is what they do. They say, oh, what's Scotty? Oh, he's deplorable. Let's speak Republican to him. And they just speak Republican just to keep you docile, compliant. And then every once in a while, they'll send you a little Desmond 11-year-old cross-dressing video to keep you docile and compliant and off in the corner looking at stupid crap. Right? Don't they?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what the hell the world's coming to, Pete.
I know what it's coming to. I know what it's coming to. It is coming to a revolt that they've never seen before. Can you imagine if all the deplorables said, all right, dude, you guys are fired. Boom. We clean house. I want some freaking okey dokes running around, okay, with like soiled jeans, all right, and some work boots running around in Congress, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Some plumbers, electricians, get the blue collar guys.
Freaking carpenters that have no clue how to spend trillions. They have no idea. They'll just sit on the freaking checkbook. They'll be like, I can't spend that much money. That's stupid anyway. We don't need that crap we're getting. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, too many zeros. Too many zeros. I don't know what the hell to do with this.
Dude, if we sent ranchers, okay? We sent ranchers out there to Washington, D.C. Could you imagine if they just, as a matter of fact, every single day, we're not going to wear suit and ties. You know how I shed, this is years ago I did this. I was literally Joe Corporate America, Scotty. I showed you, have you ever seen a picture of what I used to look like?
Oh, it was silly.
No.
Deb doesn't want me to show anybody because
No.
I look like a freaking, do I look like a politician at least?
You do.
I look like a politician in a suit and tie, dude. Yeah, freaking $1,000 suit, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think all of my shoes are worth more than one pair of freaking Cole Haans I used to burn up, you know? I paid $450 for a pair of Cole Haans, right? Because you got to dress for success. It's a freaking baller. I had more money than I know what to do with. I had to go on vacation 4 times a year, right? So I could burn it off. I used to say, work hard and play hard. That's what I used to be.
Yeah.
I had a suit and tie, all right? Now, I'm saying then I had a suit. I'm the same exact freaking ball buster now as I was then. I refuse to wear that suit and tie anymore. And I'm going to tell everybody, if it takes me 10 years for them to figure this out, that I'm more trustworthy without the suit and tie. Look at all those suits running around.
I would have to agree, Pete. I would have to agree, Pete.
Although President Trump wouldn't like that, okay? I wouldn't qualify for the apprentice.
President Trump's a billionaire. He's got to,
yeah,
and
but
he's president. He's got to keep up appearances.
Yeah, plus he wants me to buy his $100 ties too. So,
well, yeah,
his Trump ties. But
I don't even think I own a tie, Pete.
Dude, listen to me. Can we all go? Can we get a bunch of freaking okie dokes in jeans, work boots, all right? And how about some freaking cereal bowl belt buckles, right? Some rodeo belt buckles, and get them to D.C. and have them running around, get in front of the camera saying, I don't give a crap what you got going. We're taking this place over, right? I want ranchers out there. Effective immediately.
That's what we need, Pete.
We got an executive order that everyone's allowed to become a rancher, right? Everyone.
There you go. There you go.
Johnny Rotten, $10 super chat. You can't trust trans-testicle Kenyans. That's what
Nice, Johnny. Nice, Johnny.
Thank you, Johnny. Thank you, Johnny. Hey, good talking to you. You know what? I'm going to have a freaking migraine here before the end of the show. I need to slow down a little bit.
Well, have a beer.
Yeah, no kidding, huh? You know, it should be. Actually, that's what I want. I want everybody, all of you deplorables, we're going to know that they're deplorable. This is how we know. You ready? MAGA patriots that go to D.C. are going to have a fridge underneath their desk, and it's going to be filled with freaking beer.
Sweet.
Right?
I'm there, Pete.
That's it. You don't even need to talk politics. You just say, show me what's in your fridge right now. Right? When you walk into their office, what's in your fridge right now? I got freaking, I got some shock tops. It's high-end stuff, okay? Because I'm in the big house.
It's been in there for a year.
Huh?
It's been in there for a year.
I literally have. I do. I have a shock top bottle in there. It's got rust on the cap. I couldn't even finish a six-pack. But even still, I want it in the fridge. Come on, dude. Dude, we can do this. Seriously. Can you imagine what life would be like with all the okie dokes running around Congress?
Well, it'd be a hell of a lot better than what we got now. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, dude, I want you up at the podium, okay? When, Nancy Pelosi's sitting there in her freaking granny pants, right? And she's like, we're going to negotiate. And I want you to go up to the podium and say, I don't negotiate with freaking terrorists. We're shutting this joint down, right?
Exactly.
I don't negotiate with freaking terrorists. Kind of like how Trump does. That's what Trump does. He does the same stuff.
He does, Pete.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm not negotiating with you.
Why don't we, Why don't we just surround Trump with a whole bunch of freaking MAGA hat wearing okie dokes? Can you imagine how much fun that would be?
Oh, he'd love it.
Look at Jay Brickner, $10 says, keep going, Pete, and never stop. Love you guys. I will never, ever, ever stop. Ever.
I believe that, Pete.
Nothing will stop. Dude, listen, you believe me? I ate freaking bologna at the Motel 6 for 619 freaking days. The first thing I had to eat was a piece of steak, okay? Because all they got is soy. The only meat it has was bologna, okay? That was the ultimate punishment right there, okay? It took freaking meat away from me. And I came out pissed off, and I'm eating meat like every day, okay?
Oh, hell yeah.
Real
I'm
meat.
not gonna quit. Real meat, right?
No more soy for you.
No more freaking soy. All right, brother. Stay close. Thank you for all your support. Do not go away, okay? Stay close to us.
I will do, Pete.
All right.
You keep going on. Hi to Deb.
Yeah.
Well, hello.
Hi, Deb.
Hello.
All right, Scotty. We got Daniel from Quebec. Daniel from Quebec.
Is he going to yell at you?
Yes. Good evening.
Are you mad?
Why are you asking that all the time?
Because I always say something to piss you off.
No, don't try. We don't have time to waste.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. Let's go.
Good evening, Deb. Polite first.
Yes. Ladies first.
Yeah. So, what's your question?
My question to you is, if somebody stole $300 million from a bank in Quebec, what would happen to them?
They are friends of the party, so they will get free.
No, I'm talking like you. If you ran down to the bank and stole $300 million and then ran down the street, what would happen to you?
The street won't be long.
Yeah. See?
That's for sure.
The media doesn't cover this crap. When these banksters and when these politicians steal, it's not their money, dude. This is literally coming from the American taxpayers. And they say, we need to raise your taxes. Oh, of course you do. Because you got a freaking scam going on. We got to raise your taxes. We got to pay. We got to raise your taxes and steal more from you.
Yeah. What I remember from up here, up north, is that when Obama came in the U.S. as a resident, the national debt was at $1 trillion. How much is it now?
Well, what do we got? We're approaching 20 trillion. Are we up to 20 trillion yet?
What happened? I mean, the floodgates are open and the banksters are stealing trillions of dollars.
Dude, that's
so 100 million is not there. It's just pocket change for them,
Yeah, you remember the bank bailouts, right?
Sure, in 2008, yeah.
$800 million. $800 million. And it was a major thing. It was on the news around the clock for an entire week. How Congress was going back and forth, and we were going to do another check, and that the congressmen were threatened that you must vote on this. We must save the planet with this $800 million. Now, we're just stealing money through fake people in Afghanistan and then burying the friggin' story, right?
Hey, you want to hear it?
Yes. What is it?
The aggregate gross amount that Treasury can borrow is limited by the United States debt ceiling. As of July 31st, 2018, debt held by the public was $15.6 trillion and intragovernmental holdings were $5.7 trillion for a total or national debt of $21.4 trillion. That's as of July.
Intragovernmental holdings. Daniel, we need to throw, and I say here, it's a United States thing. Our MAGA hat, red hat wearing. We need just average people. I want you to take over the Quebec City Council in shorts.
You have no idea what I'm involved in, so thank you for your encouragement.
Yes.
But, I just got contacted by militia recently, so something is brewing here because we're sick of the Muslim invasion. And today I left a voice message complaint at the Quebec Federation of Women. You know why? Because last year, I found the article today. Last year, this feminist organization, they named their new president, and the lady is a transgender male.
Of course.
The president of the Women Association is a trans. I mean, what is going on here?
Listen, back up because I want to comment. You mentioned something about you said the Muslim invasion. I want to, of course, help you pre-qualify that.
Thank you, Great Awakening.
The Muslim religion is not a religion, okay? It's a political movement. It is a means to advance global Islamic terrorism dressed up in a little freaking hijab, all right? You say your evening prayers while you're stockpiling freaking shoulder-fired missiles. That's what they do at the local mosque. It's an ammunition depot.
And what they do also is that in the last 2 years, they've been able to bring in the halal meat in all the Subway restaurants in this province.
You want to know something else? When I was at the Motel 6, no bacon. Dude, who the hell lives without bacon? Who lives without bacon? Who does that?
You did for 2 years.
Not one piece of freaking bacon. Guess why? Because we don't want to offend the freaking global Islamic terrorists that are being recruited in the prison system, of course. You don't want to offend them. You know? Can you imagine? I can't have any freaking bacon. Who the hell doesn't eat bacon? That's freaking weird. No wonder why you got 11-year-olds cross-dressing. You need to feed your kid bacon, right?
Well, I'm a vegetarian, so speak for yourself.
That's
but
right.
I'll speak for myself. Yes,
you are
right.
vegetarian. That's right. I remember.
Yeah. I eat meat once in a while when I'm invited, but I don't buy meat unless I go to a smoked meat restaurant once a year. I'll buy a smoked meat. But I'm compassionate to eat meat, or I know how he feels. So, but anyway, I understand the thing. But Quebec, we have 40,000 migrants a year legal, okay? So that's twice as much as France, and you know what's happening over there. So we're being flooded, I'm now completely blind, so I don't see the drape in the city, but all the women with, their veil, we're being flooded.
Yes, that's right. All right.
What's it like? I mean, having that many Muslim migrants coming into your country, right, into your city of Quebec, or no, it's not a city. Quebec is a region, right?
A French province, but there's a big hidden agenda against our province because we're mainly Christian and we speak French, so we're like the people that the English people want to see disappear. So and we don't make kids as much as we used to do. So we're in big trouble. We need to start the deportation like they're doing in Italy. Italy right now is the model to follow, to replicate, and they have shut their borders, and they are starting a campaign against vaccines, which is another big threat because it's something to make kids, to bring kids in this world, but if you vaccinate them and they go autistic or ADD or whatever, I mean, this is not life.
I want to ask you, because you have such an influx, right, of Islam coming into Quebec, how has it changed geographically? I mean,
geographically,
your
demographically.
Yeah, demographically.
I mean, we have plenty of space. I mean, we have 1/10 the population of France in a territory that's 5 times bigger than France. So we have enough space, but the thing is that they want to see French disappear and Christians disappear. They're not killing anybody in Quebec for now, but they have an order, But once we get overcrowded, we know what happens. You have some amazing guests on your program that talks about the numbers, and Trudeau is a piece of bitch. Yeah. And is opening the gates. So we're getting all the people that your country doesn't want. We end up with them up here. Mm-hmm. So we're like the trash can of Canada.
Hey, Listen, I was just looking over at Periscope. Very nice man says, "Thank you, Pete. Oh, you guys are awesome. Thanks for all you do." And then the next message, like moments later, was, "Okay, now I don't agree with you. Bullshit. Bye." That's how hilarious. People are so unstable. They're like, they can't even like hang out with you can't hang out with Pete Santilli because it's probably because of my bacon comment, right? Or
I
no,
don't know.
oh, my Muslim comment. That's not, by the way, that's not hate
Yeah.
speech. That when I call out the Muslim religion, okay, for what it is. I love peace-loving Muslims. It's conditional though. It's conditional love. You must denounce Sharia law and you must denounce global Islamic terrorism. If you do that, I love you, right? I love you. How many Muslims right now are going to denounce Sharia law and female mutilation? How many of them are going to do that? They're not. It's a freaking political movement. It's dressed up as a religion so you can't criticize it because they say, oh, you're hateful. No, I don't like Sharia law.
We can. We have the right and we have the duty because
We have a duty.
where have we heard that there's a Christian terrorist organization somewhere that's killing people? There's no Christian
Can you
terrorist
imagine,
organization.
like-
They are the terrorists. And in Quebec, they're trying to change our laws. They're trying to install Sharia as well. But the bad thing about Islam is the other thing that most people don't hear about is it's called taqiyya. Do you know what taqiyya is?
Taqiyya. Takbir.
Yeah.
Takbir. Yeah. Is lying.
Taqiyya, I mean, they're lying to you. Okay,
That's
so
right.
they look like they're your friend at first, but when you start inviting them and you see their agenda, they're no longer your friends. And now we're faced with taqiyya, and that's really, that's very hypocritical.
This is not hate speech. This is criticism of what we know is a political movement. It is a lobby that basically protects. It's dressed up in a religion so that you can't criticize it. That way they can arm themselves, brainwash their suicide bombers, set up Sharia law, and also abuse women through female mutilation. That's what they want to do. But it's dressed up in a freaking hijab, okay? So you can't criticize it. It's hate speech if you criticize the suicide bomber. Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
It's hate speech? I don't like suicide bombers. I don't like freaking global Islamic terrorists. I don't like Sharia law people, right?
So Scotty the Squiddy just dropped $4.99 and said, "We are a country founded on meat, including pork. Why would the Muslims want to come here? This country was founded on guns, God, and meat. Cattle,
yeah, and it's okay if you're a vegetarian, that's fine. But yeah, the majority of us,
well, cattle are good for vegetarians. Cattle make vegetables grow. Cattle dung makes vegetables grow really well.
Cattle
right?
dung. Is that
Cow
what you said?
poop.
Cow
Well,
poop,
the
yes.
other thing I don't like about the halal thing is that I love animals for sure, and this practice, bleeding any kind of animal, this is torture. So I prefer the American way of killing an animal before you slice it. And I don't like their practice.
You just need to tell your freaking cattle what they were actually bred to do. Like, we're going to be having you for dinner. You're going to remain nameless. We're going to be chopping you up into burgers. To just be honest with your animals.
Right. We weren't allowed to name our cattle. Only the mama cows, the ones we knew we were going to keep.
I love animals too. I love Brahma bulls. They make great steaks.
Well, I can't wait to have a beer with you. So you have a choice. Either you come in Quebec or I fly to Cincinnati.
Daniel, we got to do it, man. Seriously. We have to do it. We got to do it sometime soon.
I suggest we meet on a mountain. We have a project. It's an old military base, a secret military base, and we are looking to do a project on top of the mountain. We'll invite you there.
Come on, do that. I'll come cover it. I don't know if I can leave the country, though, right now. But
that's the same question I have.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
all right, sir. Thank you for calling in.
Meet at the border.
Yeah, thank you for calling in.
See you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Danielle.
We've been friends with Danielle from Quebec for years now.
2012.
Yeah, since 2012, he's been a listener.
He'll get mad at Pete.
Oh, he gets mad at me.
And he'll call him and reprimand him and won't speak to him for a few months. And then
he's just as unstable as the other guy that says, yeah, Pete, we love what you do. Oh, okay, now I'm disagree with you. Bye. He leaves.
I know.
You need to start eating more meat. I probably said something towards vegetarians.
Probably. Who knows?
Hey, let's go to Sandy Dandy. What's up, Sandy Dandy? Hold on. Sandy.
Hello, Deb.
Hey.
How are you folks doing? Good job tonight.
Who do you like more, Deb or me?
Both of you.
Oh, okay, good.
See, that's
all right.
smart.
That's very nice of you. That's very
There you
kind.
go.
What's going on, Sandy Dandy?
Well, let's see. Where do I begin? First of all, stop calling Islam a religion. It's an ideology.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, it's an ideology. It's a political movement. It's dressed up as a religion so that we can't criticize it. They say, "Oh, it's hate speech. You can't be hateful towards that." Okay, that's called that's like an MRAP for a freaking right for your global Islamic terror Sharia law loving freaking female mutilation loving.
Hey, you don't have to tell me. I'm in Minnesota. What do you don't have to tell me.
It's not hate speech.
How did that happen, Sandy? How did that happen to Minnesota and Michigan and Quebec? How did this happen?
You know, I got to tell you, I've sat down and I've thoroughly thought this through a long, long time. And, you know, the state has been Democrat for too many years. And people here in our state are wonderful people. I hate when we get bunched in because, listen, down in Duluth and Minneapolis and all those places that Trump traveled, you would not believe the amount of MAGA hat-wearing supporters that man has in Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
But you've got the older folks, and I'm sorry to say it, they're afraid of change. There's a lot of communities that are so terrified of change that they, and here's another thing, is our media, all the way up to the top of the border, all the way down, is nothing but like CNN. All of it. I've said it once, I'll say it a million times. We have no other real alternative unless they're all tuning into like Fox, and Fox has kind of turned funky on people. But
yeah, kind of.
How does it happen? How does it happen? All I can say is it's either people are so terrified of change or they're just stuck. They're stuck. They don't see, they have no idea. They don't see it.
That's why they're allowed to slow cook them over at Fox. Now you got a bunch of blue hair people from Kansas watching Shepard Smith, listening to anti-Trump stuff from Judge Napolitano. They're just slow cooked into it.
Here's another thing. We had a governor in there that said, and I quote, this is in the Star Tribune, said, we will take these people in, these Somalians and whatever, and if you don't like it, this is his words, you can get the hell out of his state.
His state, huh?
His state.
His state.
That was Governor Dayton.
Yeah.
And we're in a lot of trouble when this next one comes in.
Say Minnesota. Say Minnesota.
Don't even want to go down that road.
I want to hear you say Minnesota. Say it.
Minnesota.
Minnesota. I love my steak and potatoes.
On the Canadian
people
border, I could say Minnesota,
Minnesota. Yeah, just about. Right. All right, Sandy Dandy, thank you for calling in. I appreciate it.
All right, you guys take care.
Somebody in the CJM and Periscope, I glanced at he said this. That's hilarious. He said, this is like a wannabe Stern show or something. F no, I'm not a freaking I'm not a libtard, and I don't want to be anything other than the Pete Santilli show. And if you don't like it, get off my show, right? I'm not here to collect friends either. It's not wannabe. It's the Pete Santilli show. It's been this way forever. You want to be like somebody else. No, I'm Pete Santilli, okay? And if you don't like me, go.
Just how you are.
That's it. It's not wannabe. And I'm not a freaking a libtard like Howard Stern, right? Mm-hmm. He's a Hillary Clinton supporter. I don't want to be a Howard Stern show. That's stupid. All right, Sandy Dandy.
I don't know. I used to love the Howard
Stern. Hey, listen, I
loved the Howard Stern show.
You were talking about where that money would go if we were caught bank robbing and stuff. Really quick here.
What would happen?
You guys remember when CNN got on there and said, "We're only going to tell you what Julian Assange said," or WikiLeaks, right after they started leaking the stuff about Clinton, right?
Uh-huh.
And they said, "Oh, well, you could if you have that information, you could be charged. So we'll be the ones to tell you what." And the reason why he didn't hear that article, and I didn't know anything about that article, and stuff, is because they spoon feed you what they want you to hear, and it ticks me off. You got these hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars leaving our country, and yet Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, Chuck Schumer,
Chucky Wucky,
won't fund the wall. Because they don't care about the safety of our American kids and our American families and our American values. They had just had a police officer. They've got on a manhunt for this illegal immigrant who murdered this police officer just tonight.
Yes, that's bad news. Hey, I just have a couple minutes left here, and I have some important information to get out. So please, forgive me, Sandy and Andy. I have to go. Okay.
Yeah, that's all right. Okay.
Okay. The music's coming up here in a minute. I have a minute left. I have an important announcement. All right. If you guys are joining us, I don't know how many people we have. I'd like for you to join us. It's actually almost a continuation of the show. Okay. Almost a continuation. It's actually going to be a conference call. I'm going to see how many people we can get on this e-militia conference call. All right. It's going to be about 30 minutes. You know how it's going to last an hour.
Yeah.
Right. It's going to last an hour. We're going to talk on a conference call. Now, I would send out emails. I literally sent out to 3,500 people. I think they're messing with our emails. So now I'm sending information out via the show and via MeWe. I just dropped the link to MeWe. You can actually go in there join us in our news group. I'm actually dropping it in the thread on you Periscope people. I love you guys too. You're welcome to join us for our conference call. And what it's going to be is a discussion about some ideas that we have for what we can do. Like, for instance, how do we organize an effort? I'm going to talk about MeWe, the news groups, and some stuff outside of the mainstream internet, okay, on our conference call. And it's for us e-militia members that want to do something. Do we want to do something, okay? And if it's e-militia is electronically, if we can get stuff out, if we can do things. We need to get people trained on how to restream stuff. We need to do a bunch of things. We need to, actually, my main focus tonight is going to be, I've got great people, such as the very nice girl that shared that information with me. What's her name? Wilson. Is that her name? Wilson. Mm-hmm. Elizabeth Wilson? I want to make sure I get her name right. Elizabeth Wilson. She shared information. We want people sharing news stories like that. So that way we can bring it to the show, and we, the people, can build, an information network, an underground railroad almost, that they can't control. I was called by a good friend of mine, Rich Garbowski, okay? He called me a cockroach. He said, they try to squash you.
They try to nuke you even.
They try to nuke you, and you show up elsewhere. We need to become that just a whole bunch of cockroaches scattering that they cannot control. All we have, right? There's two things that I have. Mm-hmm. My mouth, my microphone, and my soul. They cannot take that away. They can't take my mouth away, my speech. Even when I was locked up, I still had freaking speech. And I was a ball buster in the system, right? Resistance to tyranny is obedience to God. We said it on the floor of the federal courthouse. Remember that?
I do.
Resistance to tyranny is obedience to God. Said that to a federal judge in a federal courtroom. Still have that with our souls. We have souls. Let's come together tonight. Join us for the conference call. It's going to be Nicole. Thank you very much.
And Squiddy.
Thank you very much. And all of your support is going to go directly into building this thing. We're going to set up a cockroach network that they will never be able to contend with.
Right.
Okay. So get over to our MeWe group. Join our group. Join us for the conference call. The information on the conference call is there. In 30 minutes. Okay. We're going to take a short break. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you guys on the conference call in 30 minutes. December 18, 2011, I launched the Pete Santilli Show with one listener, me. That one listener has now grown into millions reached with some of the most explosive live coverage to ever break on the internet. With your help over the years, we have accomplished what the mainstream media can't. To bring you real-time coverage of the American struggle and to hold its ground against a deep state that is hell-bent on installing Marxism in this country. Before and after the election of President Donald J. Trump, we saw an uprise in violence against conservatives that threatens our right to vote for a candidate of our choice, our right to assemble, and now they're attempting to stop us from speaking. The biggest threat to liberty today is a deep state that only allows one side to speak and assemble, and like never before, the mainstream media has become complicit. Bringing you the voices of those who would not otherwise be heard has been my mission from the start. Because I'm a threat to their agenda, they want to shut me down. There can only be one way to win this fight, and that is to stay in the fight. The only way I can stay in this fight is through your support. Please support our show. Go to paypal.me/Pete Santilli. Thank you for your generosity, and God bless the United States of America.